Right then guys, it's PSL here, and I'm here for part 14 in my series on Grand Prix Manager 2, Managing Jordan. Now the previous episode was full of all sorts of highs and lows. A high from my perspective anyway is the fact that Mika Hakkinen is still injured, because what that means is that Benetton, they're fielding Marc Genet for the remainder of the season. And actually, how many points has Genet scored? Not a lot. He got pole position at the Italian Grand Prix last time out, but then he was able to, well, he wasn't really able to convert that into anything spectacular, to be honest. Marc Genet, he's only contributed 6 points to Benetton's points total. And then we've got, obviously, the championship battle. There's 2 points separating Rubens Barrichello and Gerhard Berger. Who's going to win? Barrichello, 73 points. We've got the car, unlike last year. I mean, Martin Brundle nearly won the Drivers' Championship last season. He just lost out to Michael Schumacher come the end. But we've got the car this year. Last year, we were just extremely lucky. This year, we're going to need some luck, but we're also going to have to utilise that pace. So this means that the 1997 Drivers' Championship is coming down between our current driver number 1, Rubens Barrichello, and our driver number 1 next year, Gerhard Berger. And then we got the Constructors' Championship, which is just as interesting. Jordan, we're 2 points behind Benetton. Only 2 points. A team could score a potential maximum of 32 points between now and the end of the season in the final 2 Grand Prix. But Benetton, we just lost out to them last year in the Constructors' Championship. It was brutally close. We only lost by 3 points to Benetton. That's how close it was. But this year, we're going to go one better, and we're actually going to beat them. And also, there's a titanic battle for third in the Constructors' Championship between McLaren, Ferrari, and Williams. And McLaren, they won the first race of the season at Jerez. David Coulthard took a race win for McLaren, and I thought, right, that's it. It's going to be Benetton, Jordan, and McLaren scrapping for the Constructors' Championship. Well, that was basically the first and only good performance McLaren have had all season. Ferrari have just been chipping in points on a fairly consistent basis, even with Urko Katayama, surprisingly. And then we got Williams, who haven't really done a lot, despite the fact they've got brilliant people on board, but they haven't really got a brilliant car or a brilliant engine for that matter. So here we are in the middle of the practice session for the Portuguese Grand Prix at Estoril. Estoril, I love the track. I mean, at the very least on this game, because it's got the zigzag pit lane. I mean, I really don't know the Estoril circuit, because by the time I was born it was off the F1 calendar, so I have no idea if it did actually have a zigzag pit lane. But that seems a very strange design. And then, okay, so both of our drivers are coming to the pits. Right, let's not forget, we need to stick them on a new set of tyres before we head into qualifying, or else, as we saw at the Italian Grand Prix, they'll just go really slowly. Although, to be fair, it did actually work out quite well in the end. I mean, Barrichello still won that Grand Prix. Panis, he got a little bit lucky, but he was still able to score a point, so, you know, it worked out well for us in the end, but still, we want to give our drivers the best opportunity, especially as there's, well, 2 championships on the line. So, let's head into qualifying for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and we've taken pole position comfortably. Oh, there we go. So both of our drivers have set lap times in the 1 minute 18s. Everyone else is in the 1 minute 19s. Actually, Marc Genet did a 1 minute 19.5. Everyone else is in the 1 minute 20s and over. And of course, there's only 20 cars in qualifying because, as we saw at the end of the previous episode, Ligier have declared themselves bankrupt. They will not be taking part in the remainder of the season. So for the next 2 races, we've got 20 cars, but at the start of the next season, we will see another team introduced. But actually, some of these qualifying results are very strange indeed. I mean, how is Gerhard Berger in the Benetton 0.6 of a second a lap slower than Marc Genet? Marc Genet is a worse driver, he's got less experience. But Marc Genet, I mean, as we saw at the Italian Grand Prix, brilliant in qualifying, hopeless in the race. Okay then, so here we are on the race strategy screen. Now, one thing I don't think I actually mentioned was that Olivier Panis took pole position. So because of that, we are going to be giving him the preferable pit stop strategy. Whereas unlike at the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola, Panis took pole position, and then we didn't give him the preferable pit stop strategy, and that cost him the race win. But then again, it's actually helped Barrichello to gain a few extra points, which could help him out in the Drivers' Championship. So, I mean, Panis basically lost a few points through a mistake, but it could actually work to the benefit of Barrichello, and thus the team as a whole. Now, we're going to do a two-stop strategy, but that's going to require the tyres to do 24 laps. And that's going to be tough, because as we can see, tyre set 1, they did 28 laps, and they had pretty much had it. So, that's going to be tough. A 3-stop strategy is safe, but I still think a 2-stop's quicker. We're going to go for it nonetheless. Of course, Panis coming in 1 lap later than Barrichello, because, well, Panis, he did better in qualifying. He's earned the right to be able to come in later. So, yeah, let's just head on to the formation lap. Norberto Fontana has stalled his car and will start from the pit lane. So the Minardi driver who, last season, Norberto Fontana was brilliant. I mean, he was actually one of the surprise drivers of last season when he came in and drove for Sauber. He was brilliant. But ever since he's been at Minardi, it's just kind of destroyed his career, really. And I don't think he's just been bad. I think it's just he's been at the Minardi, and, you know, the Minardi's been dreadful. The 1997 Portuguese Grand Prix at Estoril is underway. It's still Olivier Panis heading towards the first corner, yet Panis has still retained the race lead. Barrichello in second. Marc Genet, though. Marc Genet, what a surprise he has been. He's in the Benetton, he's out-qualified Gerhard Berger, and for the time being, he's still in third and ahead of both Ferraris. Right, so we're coming up to our pit stop lap. Now, Katayama's in third. He actually hasn't, Katayama hasn't pitted, neither has Gerhard Berger. So, those guys might well be doing a two-stop, because Eddie Irvine, Marc Genet, they came into the pits quite a while ago. So, this could be another masterstroke strategy from Katayama, because Katayama, he's not got brilliant pace, but his race strategies have been brilliant, hence why he's been able to get a race win and score quite a few points for Ferrari. So Barrichello, he's coming into the pits, new tyres, 24 laps worth of fuel, 11.7 seconds in the pits. Now, I should make it clear that everyone wasn't too far behind. You know, the Ferrari drivers, Berger, Genet, when he was still in third, they were not too far behind us, so we could easily be jumped by anyone, really, in the top 6 in this pit stop period. So, 24 laps worth of fuel, new tyres, 10.9 seconds in the pits, and Barrichello's taking the race lead. No, okay, hang on. Don't tell me Katayama's done another brilliant strategy. He has. I don't quite know how Katayama's done it, but he's jumped everyone in the pit. He's jumped both of our drivers, Gerhard Berger, Marc Genet. How's he done that? Right, so Katayama is in the pits right now. Now, last time I saw, Panis was only 2.3 seconds behind Katayama, so we could easily get out ahead of him here. Barrichello, okay, so Barrichello's coming into the pits. He needs 25 laps worth of fuel, new tyres, and, okay, that's an uneventful, normal pit stop, 12.2 seconds. What about Panis? Berger's also come into the pits at the same time as Barrichello. Barrichello, though, I think has come out ahead of Gerhard Berger, which means Panis should at the very least still be in second. Katayama, though, is the one to watch out for. I don't quite know what Katayama's done, but much like at the Canadian Grand Prix earlier on this season, Katayama, he's pulled off a brilliant race strategy, and he might well win. He won at the Canadian Grand Prix, why can't he win at the Portuguese Grand Prix? He's in a Ferrari, let's not forget, it may well be Yuko Katayama, but it's still a Ferrari driver in a Ferrari. Ferrari have clearly spotted something in Katayama, and we have taken first and second back off of Katayama. Katayama's in fourth, Berger's in third, we're back in a 1-2 position. That's brilliant for both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Olivier Panis has retired from the race lead. No way, Olivier Panis. Yes, I haven't sung his praises really. I mean, Panis hasn't been brilliant, but he's also been quite unlucky. Remember earlier on this season when he had a lap discounted for no reason? He dropped to the back of the field and had a lap discounted. Remember in qualifying when, you know, the previous episode when he Katayama's retired now. Hang on, Katayama has retired and has still finished in 3rd place. But anyway, as I was saying, Panis, he was unlucky at the San Marino Grand Prix when Barrichello beat him, though that was kind of my fault. He was unlucky when he had a lap discounted a couple of episodes ago. He's been unlucky this episode. Well, we'll see why he retired. What about the Hockenheim Grand Prix, when he crashed out in qualifying? He was behind a 40 driver on his outlap in qualifying at Hockenheim and crashed off. I don't know whether it was his fault or the 40 driver's fault, but either way, I really doubt Panis is that bad. But Panis, he hasn't been as quick as Barrichello, but he's been a hell of a lot unluckier. So let's see, why did he retire? He spun off, honestly. Maybe it's unlucky, maybe he's just bad, but that is heartbreaking anyway. And, you know, we would have had the Constructors' Championship near as damn it wrapped up, especially with Marc Genet retiring this Grand Prix with an engine failure of all things. Hang on, this is some confusing news. Apparently Kelvin Burt is unwell and will miss the next race. But I thought he drove for Ligier. That's very weird, okay. And then Rubens Barrichello has won the last 3 races. That is the news I want to see. That's why he's going to win both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Hopefully so anyway, but Barrichello, as I said, he's on top form at the moment, and Racing News have acknowledged that Rubens Barrichello has won the last 3 races. Right then, so in the background of pretty much this entire series, we've been developing driver aids, of course, but apart from the semi-automatic gears and advanced steering, they're all illegal for the time being. But of course, we've only got one more Grand Prix left this season, so who knows? I mean, the rule changes. If there's a rule change that allows active suspension, we're sorted because we've already got a level 10 system. I don't know what to develop now because we're not currently developing anything. Let's get started on traction control, why not? So we'll just get started on that, so that's all good. And, right, okay. Let's just ignore that because that's all filler. Let's look at the Drivers' Championship. Well, it's looking good, but not safe. Rubens Barrichello, with 1 Grand Prix left to go in this 1997 season, is leading the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. He's on 83, Gerhard Berger is on 77. It's close, but if Rubens Barrichello finishes in the top 2, he's won the Drivers' Championship. Panis, though, well, Panis has got nothing left to fight for, really, because, well, Hakkinen isn't racing and Katayama couldn't possibly pass him. So Olivier Panis, congratulations, mate, on finishing 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. And to be fair, that's better than where Barrichello finished in the Drivers' Championship last season. The Constructors' Championship, and my word, that is exciting. Jordan, we've overtaken Benetton, but we're only 2 points ahead of them. 2 points. Benetton could so easily claw that back and get ahead of us. I mean, we saw how easy it was for us to gain that advantage on Benetton. So Benetton could so easily do that. As I said, I think the one saving grace for us is the fact that Mika Hakkinen is injured, because Marc Genet, brilliant in qualifying, less so in the race. I mean, I know he retired at the previous Grand Prix due to an engine failure, but I don't think he was really going to score more than a couple of points at the previous Grand Prix anyway. And also, in interesting news, Ferrari, thanks to Katayama's 3rd place finish at the previous Grand Prix and Eddie Irvine's 4th place finish, means that Ferrari, they've overtaken McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. And honestly, I think Ferrari deserve that, because Ferrari, I believe, are the only other team to have won a Grand Prix this season aside from ourselves, Benetton and McLaren. Well, look at this. This is a bygone era of Formula 1. It's only 1 year ago, it's only 1996, but that Grand Prix, well, I mean, that Grand Prix really does sum up the 1996 season. Michael Schumacher, he set the race lap record and the qualifying lap record. Martin Brundle won the Grand Prix, because both of those two, come the final Grand Prix, they were competing for the Drivers' Championship. And yeah, I mean, that really was when Schumacher and Brundle and Berger really were kind of the 3 drivers at the top of the sport, and everyone else was just behind, really. And of course, Lacey was up there towards the top. Barrichello was there sometimes. But this really is a snapshot of 1996. This sums it up perfectly. Schumacher and Brundle, throwing Gerhard Berger as well, and that really was 1996. Those guys were the sport. for Ferrari, Jordan and Benetton respectively. Please be good, please be good. Okay, so we qualified first and second comfortably at Portugal, and it's going to be the same here, but Gerhard Berger has qualified in third place. Someone's missing. It's Marc Genet. Marc Genet hasn't actually set a qualifying lap time here at Japan. That's brilliant. For the Constructors' Championship, that's phenomenal. I don't know why Marc Genet hasn't set a lap time in qualifying. Maybe he crashed out before he could set a lap. I mean, we've had that happen to us before. But with only one Benetton going up against two Jordans, that means that we're even more likely to win the Constructors' Championship here this season. The final Grand Prix in this 1997 season is going to be a dramatic Grand Prix, whatever the circumstances, but as you can see, for the time being, it is raining. I've decided, because it is raining, we're going to do a one-stop. I'm thinking, you probably could do a one-stop with dry tyres anyway, to be honest, but we're going to fit in a 60% fuel tank, and we're going to try and do a one-stop, but that's provided that the track doesn't dry up, which it usually does. Normally, if it starts raining, normally it rains for the entire duration, but who knows, we'll see. So we've got Barrichello on pole position, Panis in second, Gerhard Berger in third. Everyone else behind doesn't matter. I believe it's Eddie Irvine in fourth, and then it's both Williams drivers. I think Damon Hill out-qualified Michael Schumacher. So the 1997 Japanese Grand Prix, the final race in this 1997 season, is underway. It's still Barrichello from Panis, and Gerhard Berger nearly actually lost third place there to that Ferrari driver, but he hasn't. It's still Barrichello from Panis, from Berger, from Irvine, from both Williams. So we're still in first and second. It's been quite a boring Grand Prix, apart from the fact that Gerhard Berger has just come into the pits. Well then, he's not doing a one-stop then. We should have the advantage on strategy, but the very fact we're doing different strategies means the whole race now gets thrown up in the air, because who knows. Michael Schumacher, though, is in third place for Williams. Katayama in fourth. What's that, 15-second gap we have on Schumacher? I think that's what it said. I might actually... No, Schumacher's coming into the pits now, right. I think we are the only team, certainly the only team in the top half, to be doing a one-stop strategy. But Michael Schumacher, I mean, he has been the better of the two Williams drivers. I mean, at least Michael Schumacher, he's had some noteworthy performances. For example, the Mad Canadian Grand Prix, he actually finished just behind Katayama to finish second that Grand Prix. Whereas Damon Hill has had the most boring anonymous season. Damon Hill, he's been driving for Williams, and he's done literally nothing interesting, both in the 1997 and 1996 season. He's done nothing. Right, so we've only got a few laps left to go. I think the gap is good between both of our drivers and Michael Schumacher in third. But crucially, Berger's in fifth. Actually, it doesn't even really matter where Gerhard Berger is. If both of our drivers are occupying first and second, or at the very least, if Barrichello is occupying first, then that's it. Both championships are done. It's got even heavier now, right? The track is ridiculously wet. This could cause a wave of retirements, who knows? Michael Schumacher's in third, still Katayama in fourth. But Gerhard Berger, he has been done on strategy. Katayama's retired! Right! I was about to say that Berger has been completely done on strategy compared to Schumacher and Katayama. Schumacher, I know I keep saying Katayama is the strategical mastermind, but Schumacher has also done quite well through doing, different strategies. Similar to Katayama, as I said, the Canadian Grand Prix is a brilliant example, because, Schumacher finished in third. Much like at this Grand Prix, Schumacher jumped a load of top drivers such as Gerhard Berger and Mika Hakkinen by doing a different strategy. But for the final Grand Prix in this 1997 season, Barrichello is in the race lead, Panis in second, Damon Hill has retired, but I think both of our guys, we're going to come home in a 1-2 finish for the Japanese Grand Prix here in 1997, and that means we're going to win both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship here in 1997. Barrichello from Panis, from Schumacher. Well, Barrichello, who won the race, finished 1 minute and 17 seconds ahead of Michael Schumacher in 3rd. And it's not like Barrichello won the Grand Prix comfortably, because Panis was within 2 seconds of Barrichello. That's a nice Grand Prix to end on. A 1-2 finish. Panis and Barrichello very similarly matched come the end. Well, certainly they finish right next to each other. And then there's everyone else who is not even on the same minute as us. And in fact, actually, we lapped everyone up to and including 6th place, who is David Coulthard. And Martin Brundle, once again, a very good result for him, finished in 7th. Johnny Herbert, though, not quite so good for him, down in 10th. But anyway, we must turn our attention away from the Japanese Grand Prix and towards the championship results. There we go. Rubens Barrichello won the Drivers' Championship on 93 points. Gerhard Berger came in 2nd on 80 points. And it's a much less balanced championship this season. I was already saying about the tiering system. Kelvin Burt, actually the highest driver not to have scored a point in the Drivers' Championship. But as I was saying, I already said about the tier system just a second ago. But last year, Michael Schumacher won the Drivers' Championship. He scored, I think, 67 points. Whereas this year it took 81 points to beat Gerhard Berger. Look at that, 146 points. That's a very successful season for us. Where actually Ligier aren't even listed on the Constructors' Championship, am I right? I don't think they are. Ferrari finished in 3rd though. Williams just about lost out to McLaren. They were only 1 point behind come the end. I know Ligier aren't even listed in the Constructors' Championship. No team is using the best security firm. Well, there you go. Who's using the worst? 40 Minardi. Oh, no. Where's all the top teams? Okay, Benetton have got the 2nd best security firm, along with Pacific. Right, but that means... Yes, there you go. That means Williams, Ferrari and McLaren, who have a lot of decent parts, have only got the 3rd best security firm. So it's going to be really easy to take things from them next season. That's good. Right, so we've got a level 1 traction control system. We haven't heard about any rule changes yet. Okay. Nothing interesting there. Right. Okay, hang on. But apparently, 2 of the most popular tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, i.e. Spa and Silverstone, have been knocked off the calendar and have been replaced by Melbourne and Ida. That's very controversial. Spa, I don't think there's anyone who dislikes Spa. Silverstone's a historic track, a brilliant one at that as well. And Melbourne's alright. Ida, I really don't know. I know Ida as well as I know Estoril, which is not really at all. Or Adelaide, for that matter. Hardly know either of those tracks. You know, the ones that were removed from the Formula 1 calendar just before I was born. And then, engine capacity has been decreased. Right, that might actually hinder us or anybody who's using Renault engines. Active suspension can now be used. Advanced steering system is banned, so semi-automatic gears. Renault Improve engine, that's all we need to hear, yes. I was quite worried that the engine capacity being decreased for this season, I was worried that that might help sort of the likes of Mercedes, because Mercedes have a very light engine. And of course, if you're decreasing the capacity, that means that surely the gaps in horsepower between all the different engines would be narrowed, so then it becomes more about weight than horsepower. But apparently Renault have improved. It could also mean that ourselves and Benetton are even more dominant than we were last season. I was assuming Benetton are still using Renault engines. Lamborghini, I quite like the Lamborghini engine. It's not that great, but it's very powerful, but very heavy. I think it is actually the most powerful engine on the grid, but it's not. It's great if you're like 40 or one of the back market teams, really. Ford, actually, has everyone improved? No? Okay, so lots of the rubbish engines, actually, Nissan and Ford, they could help the back market teams who don't have kind of a works engine deal, because if Ford and Nissan and Lamborghini, if they've improved their engines, that could help the back market teams who kind of rely on those suppliers. And there we go. Jordan wins their first title. Look at that. Brilliant. I'm still really happy about that. And then 1-2 for Jordan. Simtech, there you go. I might have already said this before, I don't know, but yes, of course, with Ligier being bankrupt, of course, a team has to take their place, and the team that has taken their place is Simtech. But that's it for teams. I think if another team goes bankrupt, that's it, we're done, we're out of teams. I don't think any other team will come in and replace them. I don't think, you know, we'll see a resurgence of Ligier or Tyrrell. If someone goes bankrupt, that's it, we lost the team for good. I think so anyway. Right, okay, Renault. So Renault are still supplying Benetton. Right, we'll have a quick look at this. Williams... I think Williams are using the same engine, but Sauber aren't. What's engine have Sauber got? Oh, Sauber have downgraded. They've got a Hart engine, which is a lower quality, has got 20 horsepower less. What about weight? It's 3 kilograms lighter, but that's worse than, you know, horsepower to weight ratio. Ferrari is still using Ferrari engines. McLaren is still using Mercedes. Simtek, what engine have they got? They've got a dreadful engine, actually. Yeah, they've got the same one as Pacific. I thought they did. Oh, look at that. Gerhard Berger. It's good to have a world-class driver on our team. Martin Brundle was brilliant. Barrichello won the championship for us. Panis has been alright. But Gerhard Berger, look at his driving attributes. He's pretty much 5-star on everything. If we won both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship last year, we should easily win it this year. Johnny Herbert's driving for Williams. Okay, so Schumacher, Herbert and Bouillon. Then same for Ferrari. Same for McLaren. Right, Benetton have got Barrichello. Now we saw in the previous episode that Barrichello had been signed to drive for Pacific, but apparently that has fallen through. I'm not surprised really, because Barrichello, well, he's won the Drivers' Championship, he's gone to Benetton. So basically what's happened is that Benetton and us, we've swapped drivers. No, actually, no, we haven't. No, look at Barrichello, look at the bottom. It says contract length, 1. Barrichello is only contracted for 1 race. So I don't know whether Benetton will sign him on a more permanent basis. Clearly, Benetton weren't expecting Berger to leave them. Which they should have done because... well, they should have done because they should have known about that for ages. And then Sauber. Sauber have got a decent driver lineup, actually. A very good driver lineup. They seem to like British drivers to Sauber. Damon Hill as their driver number 1. Martin Brundle as their driver number 2. And then, of course, they've got Heinz-Harald Frentzen as a test driver. And Frentzen, arguably, well, I'd say undoubtedly really deserves to be a race driver at a team. But no, he's stuck being a test driver for Sauber. Right, Simtek, they've got a pretty uninspiring driver lineup, actually. I will find out who these drivers are. Of course, as I said, I'll go through it in a more in-depth aspect in the next episode. But one thing I've noticed is that all of these drivers, well, they're all bad, firstly. And secondly, they're all paid drivers. So Simtek, things aren't really going well for them. If anything, if I was Simtek, I'd have got Take and Yue. Because we haven't got him at the moment. No one's got him at the moment. I might sign an Yue for next year, or for this year, sorry. But why didn't they get Inoue? He's got experience with the best team on the grid, and he pays more money. But the next video in this series will be the montage of this season, and then the video after that will be starting the 1998 Formula 1 season in Grand Prix Manager 2. So I'll see you then.